Seems like a tall order. What's up, guys? Hope you're having a good week so far. Shout out to any new subscribers, and if you are a return viewer, thank you for all the support on the channel. I really do appreciate it. If you're new, I appreciate you checking out my video, and if you like it, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe before you leave today. So today I want to highlight some things from a New York Times article that is talking about some changes that could be starting to happen at Netflix very soon. So recently, Scott Stuber, who was the head of film previously at Netflix, left that position. He moved on to something else. And so he has been replaced by Dan Lin. If I'm not mistaken, Dan Lin's name also came up during the transition period at Warner Brothers when they were looking for someone to be in charge of DC. Well, before they announced James Gunn and Peter Safran, I believe he was one of the people that came up in that discussion, and I think I made a video about it, so I'm pretty sure it was him. He's now the film chief at Netflix, and there are some changes that are going to come about. First of all, the article mentions that Mr. Lin's mandate is to improve the quality of the movies and produce a wider spectrum of films at different budget levels with the hopes of appealing to varied interests of Netflix's 260 million subscribers. He'll also be changing the formulas for how talent is paid, meaning no more enormous upfront deals. So I guess what they kind of want to move away from is just having a bunch of huge, high budget action films, which obviously they're still going to have action films and stuff like that, but I guess it seems like he wants to kind of move away from pushing that as much, especially budget-wise, and focus on having a variety of different types of movies to kind of, contrast between Scott Stuber's approach and these changes that Dan Lin could be making. Scott Stuber spent lavishly on talent, promising filmmakers near complete creative freedom and hefty budgets. And like it mentions, it worked to an extent. The directors got to make their passion projects, and their films earned Oscar nominations. And then there was even a time in 2021 when Netflix announced that they were going to be releasing like a new movie every week for that year or that summer or something along those lines. I do remember that campaign. So they were just kind of turning into, just pumping movies out constantly. Well, series too, but for, definitely a lot of movies. Under his tenure, he also kind of pushed this idea of having wide theatrical releases, although pretty limited amount of time that they did that. And they weren't long theatrical releases either. Obviously, Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead was the first one that they did that with. There were some other ones. Movie starring Chris Evans. I can't remember what the title was at the time, but there were several other movies that they had theatrical releases for. This article keeps reiterating that his main overall objective is to make Netflix's movies better, cheaper, and less frequent. So it seems like a tall order. It also describes that he wants his team to become more aggressive producers, developing their own material rather than waiting for projects from producers and agents to come to them. Hoping that approach can allow them producers to have more say over the quality of the films, because it seems like they really want to keep high quality for their movies, which obviously, over the years, Netflix has vastly improved quality of movies, which is why they pretty much now produce theatrical quality movies. They now also get a lot of movies that are, shortly after they are in theaters. It used to take movies like years to get to Netflix, which sometimes it still does, but recently they've had very, successful movies shortly after they have their theatrical run. They could also be restructuring the pay for filmmakers, similar to how traditional studios do. They kind of base the pay for filmmakers off of the performance of the film. However, it does seem that they are going to stay pretty strong on their model of keeping things on streaming and not having theatrical releases, which, there's obviously filmmakers and, stars and theater owners, like it mentions in the article, that are going to have, kind of be on both sides of that, which I am on kind of both sides of that as well. I do understand that this is Netflix's model. They are a streaming service, the pioneer of their business. And so that's what they do. And it allows so many more people to have access to all of these movies and shows. On the other side of that, there are things I think that they produce that could benefit from having a theatrical release. All of these big, high budget theatrical quality movies, people should have the chance to see those kinds of things in theaters as well, and it would benefit them financially. Yes, it costs money to put movies in theaters, but I see both sides of that. But there's a quote here from John Fithian, who is the former president and chief executive of the National Association of Theater Owners. He mentions that almost all of the most watched movies on streaming services are movies that were first released theatrically. So that's a pretty good point to make in this argument that, I mean, clearly there are some series and movies that get huge attention on Netflix and other streaming services, but that's a good point to make. The article says that, many in the creative community are rooting for Mr. Lin. With the business consolidating, they are desperate for Netflix to continue buying movies. The hope is that with a renewed focus, Netflix may greenlight movies that the studios would say no to and provide a home for more romantic comedies and mid-budget character studies in Hollywood's shifting landscape. Overall, they want to have lower budgets, releasing movies less frequently, and still keep high quality and appeal to a variety of interests and audiences. I think that could be a difficult thing to do. Obviously, there are filmmakers out there that know how to stretch a budget and make very high quality films with a modest budget. They are going to have filmmakers that are able to do that. But then on the flip side, there's going to be, if you want to continue working with these top dog filmmakers that they've had before, that they've had in recent years, they might, not demand, but kind of request higher budgets for the kind of quality that Netflix is going to want. I hope that it reaps good benefits for Netflix and viewers alike. I hope that they can stay in good standing with filmmakers. That way they can keep producing things that people enjoy watching and also have a healthy relationship with viewers, like making things that actually attracts viewers and, like I said, have a variety of different things. I don't see that as a bad thing. I thought those were some interesting things to point out from this article. Since there is a new film executive at Netflix, it's going to be interesting to see how it kind of affects what kind of effects it's going to have moving forward with, popular shows, popular movies, things that are in high demand, the quality. And so it'll be interesting to see how that continues moving forward. But just thought I would share that. Thought it was an interesting topic. Made some interesting points. Let me know your thoughts. And thank you guys for checking out the channel. Visit the channel for anything you might have missed recently, including the shorts section. You can also check the link in the description for my Hive Marketplace storefront, and we'll see you guys next time.